Hi, it's Maggie. I'm going to talk about the dark moon Lilith today. First of all, I'm going to try to give an astronomical explanation somewhat. I'm probably going to have to read it because I'm an astrologer, not an astronomer. Um, Black moon Lilith is a mathematical point in space. It kind of reminds me of the North Node and South Nodes, that you can't really see it. So it's like an invisible center of gravity pulling at the moon as it goes around the Earth. And the moon aligns with once a month when it's farthest away. That's called its apogee. I can't pronounce it. Apogee. And the astrological glyph for Lilith is an inverted rather, black crescent underpinned by a cross. So Lilith, astrological symbol, expresses emancipation, freedom, independence, karma, darkness, evil, seduction, temptation, conscience, soul, and allurement. So, yeah, and it takes nine years for dark black moon Lilith to complete one full revolution around the zodiac. So, back in early Hebrew mythology, it was a matriarchal society, and Black Moon Lilith was supposed to be like even before Eve. Before Eve, she was dominant, and didn't want to be told what to do, and um, and she was also associated with a demon, and some demon goddess that she was beautiful, but she would turn into a butterfly and try to seduce men at night and eat their children and all kinds of weird stories. But there's a strong element of karma with Black Moon Lilith. It's a great magnetic force that pulls on you. Yeah, so she can be dangerous, demonic, terrifying. She's pure instinct, alluring, unfettered, a force that can mesmerize, create, and destroy. So men, the patriarchy was really afraid of Lilith, you know. Um, so they went more with Eve, but basically Lilith kind of kicked out Eve, wanted to be in control, dominant, and she's supposed to be very jealous, alluring, a temptress, and some demon that turns into a blue butterfly. There's all kinds of, you know, fantasies about Lilith. Um, yeah, so the first Eve in the early Hebrews called her. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but um, yeah. So anyway, where you have it, in what sign, what color, where your kind of void is, or some people really run with it and say where your sexual allurement is, where your dark moon Lilith, and it's associated sometimes with magic and sexuality, and but not everyone's into that. Not everyone's into magic, and but it can, um, yeah, it can sort of leave a void in that area of your life where it is. Um, yeah, the shadow is like a trickster, a swindler, a thief. That would probably be Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, I'm thinking. Yep. Black Moon Lilith in Cancer would be probably over possessive, not wanting anyone to eat her children. Um, yeah, it's just Lilith and Leo would be, yeah, mere mortals are drawn to you like moths to a flame. Yeah, so people really run with this, like narcissism, megalomania, vanity, um, Lilith in Virgo. Lilith in Virgo Yeah, Lilith in Virgo, because the shadow side would be, yeah, because Virgo is the virgin, right? So the shadow side would be the opposite, probably, I would think. I would think. Um, yeah, so I really haven't studied her a lot. I do know where she is in my chart, and I haven't really paid that. I had an astrologer do my chart. He talked about he's really into Lilith. Gregory Scott, I absolutely love Gregory Scott. He's a tarot reader and a great astrologer, super Virgo, very analytical. But he talks about her a lot. So it's kind of like your dark shadow, empty void side, and yeah, and so back in the day, yeah, they just when it was a matriarchy, I've read a lot of stories about Lilith just now, yeah, but that's kind of how I learned by reading and then assimilating and trying to condense it somewhat, but they pretty much reduced her to Mother Mary. She started from the first Eve, and then the Hebrew word for her was something else, some kind of demon, that ate children and seduced men at night. She was a beautiful woman, but the bottom of her was like fire, and kind of like a mermaid in a way, in a way. Um, yeah, and so, and then it's kind of evolved from there. Um, and then it evolved into Mary, when it was a patriarchal society, which kind of still is, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely matriarchal back there. So I'm going to post one of the original um, glyphs of her. But yeah, so she's all through mythology and all throughout astrology as well. And some astrologers give her a lot of credence and some don't. But it is the apogee. I need to learn to pronounce that. Um, yeah, so just like the north and south nodes, you really can't see. You see the north node in your chart, but you really don't see the south node. But you can find Lilith in your chart just by going on Astrodienst and click on where your fixed stars are, where Lilith is, and see what house she's in, and see what it represents in your chart by house and by sign. How maybe you're insecure in that area, or maybe you're overly jealous. Maybe you're just uh, it's like the sexual seducer, you know seducer, just courtesan, gigolo. I'm just giving this one, and that's talking about in Libra. So in Scorpio, holy shit, in Scorpio, yeah, it's like black magic, a sadist, a sex addict. So it's like people can run with Lilith. Uh, yeah, totally run with her. Lilith in Capricorn is a power hungry woman, power hungry, of course. Lilith in Aquarius, rebel, fanatic, and anarchist. I'm just giving this great article. Out of everything I've looked at, I really like this one. I've got to give her credence. It's written by, I didn't get to Pisces, but I'll scroll down. It is written by Horoscope Friends UK. Horoscope Friends .co.uk. So yeah, it was posted by that website. And yeah, so I got my images from Astrodienst of the original archaic image that they had of Lilith. Um, I'm just scrolling down to Pisces because I'm very, very curious about Lilith in Pisces. Hopelessly romantic, yeah, just irrational. That's Neptune. That's Neptune anyway. Neptune's in Pisces. The shadow side would be a master illusionist, deceiver, madman, escapist, or drug addict. We already know that with Neptune. And every sign has a shadow side anyway, you know. Yeah. And anyway, it's basically if you push Lilith's buttons, she can self-destruct. Like Marilyn Monroe, I believe, had Lilith very close to her, maybe her midheaven or her sun. But yeah, so if you push her buttons, she, like in this one about Pisces, said can get pretty seedy, immoral, and slippery behavior, and go all the way down the rabbit hole. But yeah, so astrologically, it's fun to look at, and a lot of astrologers really do give credence to it. And if you liken it to the nodes, you know, it is supposed to be like a karmic thing. And what brought this up for me was looking at Lilith is now in Aquarius. So my first thought, I guess I was thinking nodally, kind of, you know, before I kind of did this very quick study on her. Well, I knew that she was a shadow side and that she was a seductress, and that did have sort of a sexual self-destructive element to her. But I don't know about the evil part. But yeah, so basically, you don't want to piss her off, and if her buttons get pushed, you know, it's how you express Lilith. You know, you might be extremely jealous. You know, like if it was in Scorpio, if you were in Cancer, it could be extremely possessive. If it was maybe in Taurus, extremely possessive and greedy. You know, yeah, you know. But this one, it could be, yeah, lust for love, luxury, and money, and jealous. Oh, yeah, yeah. You piss her off, she could see red. She could see red. Gluttonous, possessive, a slave to your carnal urges. So yeah, that's like the dark side of Lilith. Let's see, Aries would be the shadow. You know, first it says what a hot chick you are and everything, on the hunt, which is true about Aries. They like to be on the hunt. They like to, yeah, they like the thrill of the chase. Yeah, they definitely do. And then once the hunt is over, and then you kind of get bored and move on. So that's the thing about Aries. But the shadow side would be competitive, bloodthirsty sex fiend, go on the offensive and become a tactless, selfish cad. Wow. Yeah. So anyway, that's just, it's a really good article, and there's good articles everywhere. You could just Google it. Yeah, there were some, you know, astronomy articles that really got into the explanation of the elliptical orb and how it's so wobbly and off-center that they had to condense it to the apogee. Yeah, so let me look at this one. Yeah. Some astrologers view the black moon as being not the apogee of the elliptical orbit, but the empty focus of the eclipse. So yeah, it's definitely a shadow side. It's kind of like a black hole. It sounds like, you know, it sucks you up. Yeah, yeah, it's like the dark side. Um, the point opposite black moon, lunar perigee, is sometimes known as Priapus, a minor rustic fertility god of purely phallic nature. I think she's more woman-oriented. In practice, the apogee and the empty focus can be thought of as being in the same place in the chart, but the difference in symbolism can be relevant. Okay, I'm just going to read one more little thing. Yeah, it's, well, maybe not. I don't want to bore everybody. Yeah, you could pretty much look it up for yourself. It's just different theories on, how the orbit was derived. But yeah, just stick to the simplest one. Yeah. The mean, okay, this one, I'll condense it. The mean and true positions are based on two different estimations of the moon's current orbit. Neither can actually be said to be right or wrong, because at the moment you request the position of the moon's apogee, the moon is simply where it is and projecting where it would be if it was at apogee is hypothetical, whatever formula you use. So, you really have to get into the mythology, the symbolism, the yeah, if you get all astronomical about it, which, I mean, it is a true astronomical thing, think of it like a black hole. Think of it like the South Node, maybe a little bit. Definitely feminine, and has some of the mythology about it, being dominant, if she was the first Eve and didn't want to do what Adam said, and got kicked out of the garden or maybe just left. And so, Eve was more less Lilith, let's just put it that way. Yeah. So she's absolutely wants to be the boss. Yeah, so anyway, the mean lunar orbit is an attempt to even out the wobbly line into a nice smooth eclipse. By averaging out the moon's positions over time. Having done that, we can determine where the apogee of the mean orbit is, and that would be the mean lunar apogee or mean black moon. Yeah, so it gets really technical, but I prefer to stay astrological about it. I love mythology. I will give more credence to her, definitely. So yeah, it's like your dark side. It's like your dark side. And as a woman, of course, it would be jealousy, sexuality, um, and what sign or house it's in will color it. So it could also be insecurity, or it could be a void in your life where maybe you feel insecure about that area and you overcompensate. And if your buttons are pushed, you act out. So anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. So anyway, if you do, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.